Namaste, angels. This will be our weekly general reading for the period of Sunday, August 26th, which is tomorrow. I'm doing this reading on the 25th, and it's going to go through Saturday, September 1st. Thank you, all of you subscribers, for being here, and other viewers. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do consider it by the end of the video. And if you like the video, actually like the video by checking off the like box. If you, again, have not yet subscribed and you wish to, please not only click on the subscribe button, but also the bell that will ensure that you receive notifications when I do post new videos. Today, I am recording from my sister's house in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been traveling for, I guess, about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and I guess about a week and a half. And spent about a week in Myrtle Beach. So some of you were asking me, what was that location posting on my videos? I heard from a couple of you that said, oh, your video says 6-bedroom condo. So that was a little embarrassing. But yeah, I have been traveling with my entire immediate family. So both of my parents, who are divorced, but they came along, my children, and myself, my sister, her husband, their daughter, her boyfriend, my other sister, her daughter, my children's father. So we've all been away. It was like a family reunion sort of thing. So now I'm at my sister's house. So that's our different scenery here. I've got that mug in the back that I was burning some bay leaves. I didn't bring my sage here, or I used it all in Myrtle Beach or whatever. But you know, sage is not the only smudge. There's other stuff that we can use. So bay leaves, in fact, also can help to clear out and restore, old energy or stale energy, and restore healthy, more positive vibrations into the air. So I've done that with some bay leaves. And we're going to get started, because also I am returning home sooner than expected. I shall do the remaining client readings. Off the top of my head, I think I have about 5 from home rather than while I'm here. So you can expect those over the next, couple days. Anybody who is awaiting a client reading, and anybody who would like one, you know how to reach me, Queenofswordsthelightworker.com. Okay, so all that said, there's nothing on the Hebrew calendar this week, the Jewish calendar. There is nothing on the Islamic calendar this week. The 23rd was the last day of Eid al-Adha. So we don't celebrate anything else major until 9/11. That is the Islamic New Year. Also, if you ask me, quite possibly Jesus' real birthday. I certainly believe he was a Virgo. Last year I explained how I thought and why I thought he might have been born specifically on 9/11. Pardon that noise, that was the charm from the door alarm. We went into that last year. Maybe I'll talk about it again this year when that time is closer. So the Christian calendar, there is something that I would like to discuss, and that is on August 29th, which is my younger sister's birthday, and also Michael Jackson, the king of pop, that is his birthday. It is also the day that Saint John the Baptist is said to have been beheaded. He became a martyr on that day. So that's what I'm going to talk about from that calendar. Saint John the Baptist, of course, Jesus' cousin. Son of Elizabeth, Mary's cousin. So that's how they came to be cousins. I guess maybe he was Jesus' second cousin or something. Mary, when she was pregnant with Jesus, went to visit Elizabeth, who was also pregnant at that time, pregnant with John, and to sort of help her. Elizabeth was further along than Mary, and also much, much older. Right? Mary was only, 14. She was a teenager. Elizabeth was said to have been barren, like menopausal, but had been blessed with this child, according to the scriptures at least. So she was pregnant. It's funny, my mother's name is essentially John, and her middle name is Elizabeth. So again, Elizabeth the mother, John the son. So yeah, we're going to talk about John, and that's going to be it for the Christian calendar as well. Then we'll move into the celestial system. So I've just brought up an arbitrary, I typed in what I was looking for, and the first website that came up for me to click on is on what I clicked. It is called www.oca.org. Okay, and that the OCA stands for Orthodox Church in America. The beheading of the holy, glorious prophet, forerunner, and Baptist, John. The beheading of the prophet, forerunner of the Lord, John the Baptist, the evangelist Matthew, in Matthew 14, 1 through 12, and Mark 6, 14 through 29, provide accounts about the martyrdom and the martyr end of John the Baptist in the year 32 after the birth of Christ. Following the baptism, see, they were the same age, right? I just said that both of the mothers were pregnant at the same time. Jesus is said to have died when he was around 32, 33. They're recording that John the Baptist was also 32 at this point. Following the baptism of the Lord, Saint John the Baptist was locked up in prison by Herod Antipas, the tetrarch or ruler of 1/4 of the Holy Land and the governor of Galilee. After the death of the king Herod the Great, the Romans divided the territory of Palestine into 4 parts and put a governor in charge of each part. Herod Antipas received Galilee from the Emperor Augustus. The prophet of God, John, openly denounced Herod for having left his lawful wife, the daughter of the Arabian king, Artaxerxes, and then instead cohabitating with Herodias, the wife of his brother Philip, and this can be found in Luke 3:19 through 20. On his birthday, Herod made a feast for dignitaries, the elders, and 1,000 chief citizens. Salome, the daughter of Herod, danced before the guests and charmed Herod. In gratitude to the girl, he swore to give her whatever she would ask, up to half of his kingdom. So he said, you can have anything you want, as large as half of my kingdom, and anything smaller than that. The vile girl, on the advice of her wicked mother, Herodias, asked that she be given the head of John the Baptist on a platter. Herod became apprehensive, for he feared the wrath of God for the murder of a prophet, whom earlier he had heeded. He also feared for the people, who loved the holy forerunner. But because of the guests and his careless oath, he gave orders to cut off the head of St. John the Baptist and to give it to Salome. According to tradition, the mouth of the dead preacher of repentance once more opened and proclaimed, Herod, you should not have the wife of your brother Philip. Salome took the platter with the head of St. John and gave it to her mother. The frenzied Herodias repeatedly stabbed the tongue of the prophet with a needle and buried his holy head in an unclean place. But the Pontius Joanna, wife of Herod's steward, Chusa, buried the head of John the Baptist in an earthen vessel on the Mount of Olives, where Herod had a parcel of land. The uncovering of the venerable head celebrated is on February 24th. The holy body of John the Baptist was taken that night by his disciples and buried in Sebastia, there where the wicked deed had been done. After the murder of St. John the Baptist, Herod continued to govern for a certain time. Pontius Pilate, governor of Judea, later sent Jesus Christ to him, whom he mocked, This is found in Luke 23, 7 through 12. The judgment of God came upon Herod, Herodias, and Salome even during their earthly life. Salome, crossing the river Sikoris, Sikoris, in winter, fell through the ice. The ice gave way in such a way that her body was in the water, but her head was trapped above the ice. It was similar to how she once had danced with her feet upon the ground, but now she flailed helplessly in the icy water. Thus, she was trapped until that time when the sharp ice cut through her neck. Her corpse was not found, but they brought the head to Herod and Herodias, as once they had brought them the head of St. John the Baptist. The arid king Aretas, in revenge for the disrespect shown his daughter, made war against Herod. The defeated Herod suffered the wrath of the Roman Emperor Caius Caligula. And this is found, it says in pages 37 through 41 of that book, Caius Caligula. He was exiled with Herodias first to Gaul and then to Spain. The beheading of St. John the Baptist, a feast day celebrated and established by the church, is also a strict fast day because of the grief of Christians at the violent death of the saint. In some Orthodox cultures, pious people will not eat food from a flat plate. There's something Instead, they won't use a knife either, or eat food that is round in shape on this day, so nothing resembling a head or the platter on which it had been. Today, the church makes remembrance of the Orthodox soldiers killed on the field of battle, as established in 1769 at the time of Russia's war with the Turks and the Poles. So this is celebrated on the day that St. John the Baptist was killed, again, August 29th. That's it for the Christian calendar. So I'm going to move on to the celestial system. So today, the day on which I'm doing this reading, is August 25th at 1:54 p.m. today. Jupiter went sequid quadrate Chiron, or basically square Chiron, 16 degrees. I talk about that at length in last week's general reading, so I won't revisit it now. You can listen to that one if you have not heard what I had to say about that. On August 26th at 7:56 a.m., the full moon, 3 degrees Pisces 12. And the following day, August 27th at 10:05 a.m., Mars, which has been sort of back and forth between Aquarius, where it had been for some time, and then Capricorn, which is subsequently entered, will go direct. It's also been retrograde all this time too. It will go direct in Capricorn, 28 degrees 37. So I'll talk about that a little bit too. My feelings about the full moon in Pisces, and I may or may not, I'm not sure yet, do a moon reading. The past couple ones that I've done have been excellent, if you ask me, but didn't get as many views as the general and the love reading. Not that I, care or mind. I'm bothered by that because I do feel that who's meant to see these things, at a bare minimum at least does. But with me being away, I don't know if I want to, or if I'll be moved to put the energy into doing it, if a significant number of people are not going to watch it. So I'm not sure, but how I'm feeling about it right now is that because it's the Pisces moon, and given that Pisces is currently, or Neptune is currently retrograde, Neptune, Pisces' ruler, is currently retrograde there in Pisces, I think that the moon there also will definitely not only move us to surrender as moons do, and to feminine energy as moons do, but to go deep, like we're going deep into the ocean, deep into the water, right? Watery Pisces. And sort of in a mystical kind of way, and solitary, reclusive, what's the word? Like, definitely being with oneself, spending time with oneself, getting to know and understand one's self, which sounds kind of hermitish, which is Virgo energy, but I mean in a as deep a way possible. Maybe more so than typical enlightenment, as with the hermit. This is more, it's definitely more hanged man, and also looking at all the possibilities and exploring one's dreams and goals and desires and passions also, and a deeper level than they typically would. Some of us may still be, dealing with some of the energy from the sun in Leo and the Leo new moon, because that was heavy. Remember the solar eclipse that came along with that moon too. So some of us definitely could still be feeling all of that. The sun doesn't officially go, or just officially went into Virgo this week. So some of us could still still have been feeling that also. Because of that energy that we were dealing with, that was a period of facing things, and because of it was coupled with those retrogrades, revisiting a lot of stuff from our lives, and then facing it courageously like a lion, right? And things being illuminated by the sun ruler of Leo. So then we were able to realize things about ourselves that maybe we hadn't been able to see prior because they were not illuminated yet. So once they became so, we're able to face, some of our greatest fears and self-doubts. So some of us may still be dealing with that also, coupled with this other energy that I've been describing. I just think it's all going to be like converge upon one another, and it'll be, everything will be, all this energy will be compounded by the other energy, to which it is simultaneous. And we still have quite a few planets or bodies, celestial bodies that will be in retrograde, and these things, cause us to look within and revisit issues from our past, and sometimes as far back as our childhoods, and our familial relationships, and why we're having trouble in our current relationships with friends and loved ones, and it comes from somewhere long ago. So I think that we're going to be dealing with a lot of that on an emotional level, because Pisces is a water element planet, with this moon. And to give you a little bit more detail about the time from a more official place, this is from like a space.com, in Australia. And notice this numerology, because I did. Well, I did. I can't help it. In Australia, Sunday, August 26th is when the moon arrives. So that is 8/8/11, right? 2018 is 11 or 11 at 3:30 p.m. So 8/8/11/33. I think that's interesting. Of course, 33 are multiple threes, representing the ascended masters surrounding one. In London, or the United Kingdom, the full moon arrives on Sunday as well, August 26th. So again, 8/8/11 at 6:30. So you have 3 threes there. In Los Angeles, Saturday, August 25th, 2018, which in itself is an 8, right? It's 8 plus 7 is 6, plus the 1 makes it 8 again at 10:30. So that's a 13, a 4, 11, 10:30 p.m. New York, Sunday, August 26th. So again, 8/8/11 at 1:30 a.m. And again, another 13, a 4, or 11. And then the universal time attributed to it is Sunday, 8/8/11 at 5:30 p.m., which is at an 8. 8/8/11/8. Again, the following day, Mars goes direct. I think that this will be particularly significant, impactful for those of the Aries and Scorpio zodiacs, because those are the two signs ruled by Mars. But also anyone else who's felt stuck and is interested in finally getting moving, and sort of forging ahead. I think that this will be your time to do that when Mars goes direct. It's like, full steam after having sort of been backwards for a while. On September 11th, the same day as the Islamic New Year, is when Mars will again re-enter Aquarius. So every time I tell you guys one of these things, I let you know also, or I point out how several things happen on the same day. So we already went over the fact that it's the Islamic New Year, Mars also re-entering Aquarius on that day, and we'll get into some other things that may be happening on that day as well as we get closer. On that note, I'm going to get to the cards, beginning with Major Arcana card number 6, the Lovers, and Archangel Raphael. Intimate relationships, carefully weigh your decisions, good health. Major Arcana card number 6, the Lovers, represents the sign of Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, which has been having a number of squares itself and a lot of tense energy over the past week or so. A lot of it involving Jupiter. Speaking of Aries and Mars, however, opening to Major Arcana card 4, the Emperor with Archangel Michael. Again, ruler of Scorpio and Aries. Organization and logic, structure and discipline, leadership. There could be some connection between specifically Gemini and Scorpio and or Aries. I did a reading the other day, actually. I think it was one of my daily Patreon readings that, oh yes, it was the one for Friday through the weekend. There was a lot of heavy connection between, I said there was definitely a situation going on between a fire sign, so there's your Aries, an air sign, potentially Gemini, and the other one was Earth. So yeah, there could be something going on here again. Speaking of that, the drama, conflict, opening to the 5 of Fire, competing goals, bothersome details, conflict with others. This card also, from a more positive perspective, tends to also represent Mars for me, which is in the need to take some sort of action. Opening to the 3 of Air. The 3 of Air could be signifying that not only is there conflict, and with the 5 of Fire, tends to be, as far as I'm concerned, with close friends and or family, if there's conflict, if not just within ourselves, like internal conflict. Not only conflict, but some sort of loss, pain attached to it, maybe a breakup or friendship that ends or something too. Great sadness. Take time to heal. There's a need to forgive yourself and others. Five of Fire. And speaking of Scorpio too, it is Major Arcana card, release or death. Number 13, the end of a phase or situation. Again, a relationship, a friendship, a familial relationship, where you feel connected, a business relationship, a situation, all those things may come to an end. That may be why somebody was feeling 3 of Swords. Right? It began with a conflict. That was the 5 of Wands, and it ended in some sort of end to a situation. Death, of course, can also be about just a transition. Somebody transitioning from one phase to another. So maybe you're going through an internal struggle, going within, using that energy of the Pisces full moon, and then letting something go, right? The full moons are about endings as well. Letting something go. You might mourn the loss of the end of the situation or relationship or circumstance because you're accustomed to it. but you'll be also beginning a new beginning. So we may see the Ace of Water come up too. I actually saw it while I was shuffling. The Ace of Water, I saw the Two of Water. So like maybe an end of one relationship, the beginning of another. We might see those cards again. And still with the energy of Mars, apparently, the King of Fire, motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic. Focus, focus, focus. Communicate with vision and be a leader. Take advice from someone creative. Five of Fire. And we've come to the Eight of Water, which is about moving on too. So again, it could be somebody moving on from a circumstance, moving on from a relationship. A desire to move on. The search for something more meaningful, spiritual and emotional growth. And speaking of all those eights that we just went over with the time and date of the full moon, our overall energy is the Eight of Fire. Events moving at a fast pace. Delays are over. Many things are happening at once. Eight of Fire or Eight of Wands, always a positive energy as far as I'm concerned. The things that are happening to move us forward. There's also communication that comes into play when we see the Eight of Fire. We got two cards at the middle. At the heart of the matter, we've got two cards. I picked up two. I don't like to put cards back when they want to come out. Crowning the masculine is the Three of Water, a celebration, a wedding, a graduation, or a birth announcement, the need to have more fun. For the most part, I feel like this is about definitely the need to have more fun, the need to be more social. Some of you may need to get out. Maybe something has already ended. And, you've just been sort of a recluse in the house, and not living life, and you need to get back out there. Could involve some sort of party of three. For others, it may be something celebratory, too. Surrounding the masculine is the Ace of Fire. I saw this one as I was working too. Yes, and I should have mentioned this one, not just the Ace of Water, in terms of a positive new beginning that I was feeling, but this one too. The Ace of Fire is not only a new beginning, but it is one about something or someone, about which or whom we are extremely passionate. This is something that we really want. So similar to the Ace of Water, there's emotion connected to it, positive emotion. And maybe that's the reason for some of us to be celebratory. Or in another case, you go out and you might meet someone, or you might, meet an opportunity. An opportunity might present itself to you when you're out, that it's not going to come to your door and knock on your door, right? You got to be out there available to get it. And in the masculine's subconscious is this feeling of loss and lack, right? With the Five of Earth, fears surrounding money, the wisdom to accept help from others, and uncertain self-employment. So this can be the need for a job, and one could present itself to you. Again, if you make yourself available, maybe be a little bit more social. There's an opportunity to network or something, you should take it, masculine. Or to meet somebody, maybe you can go out with friends. Three of Water can also, often for me, be a reunion of sorts, a reunion of friends maybe. Go out with friends, maybe you'll meet a new one with whom you'll enter some sort of relationship. A friend may hook you up, as they say, introduce you to someone else, but here you're just feeling loss and lack, like you're not going to be able to have a relationship, or you're not going to ever have enough money. You just like, this is just wallowing in like self-pity and doubt, pessimism and lack. Crowning the feminine, the Knight of Air, intelligent, decisive, idealistic, and tireless. Events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options so you can come up with creative solutions. Then, let me tell you, the Knight of Air. This could be that Mercury energy that we were feeling before I was feeling, at least. Could be tied to Venus as well, or a Gemini, which is the energy with which we started with the Lovers, Libra, or Aquarius. Feminine is surrounded by renewal with Archangel Jeremiel. Review and evaluate. A favorable assessment of the facts. It's time to move in a new direction. Renewal is judgment in the traditional tarot and represents the planet Pluto and sign of Scorpio for me. So Scorpio has two rulers. One is Mars, we started talking about from the beginning, and the other is Pluto. And we would have these two here mirroring. So the Scorpio card is mirroring this energy of possibly Mars with the Ace of Fire. And that goes along with what I said in the beginning too, that if you're particularly an Aries or a Scorpio or anybody else who has just felt stuck and is like ready to move forward, like you're not playing around, the energy of the August 27th, when Mars goes direct, will propel you. So it might have moved some of you to get right down to it and address a relationship that you have with somebody. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It could be a friendship. It could be a romantic relationship. It could be business. It could be familial. Any type of relationship. When judgment shows up, it means that we have come to some sort of crossroad and we got to decide, where do we go from here, if anywhere. Some of us ain't going no further. That's the end of the relationship. Goodbye. Some of us are going to start a new phase. In any case, death, the energy of death is involved because the old situation and maybe even the old us goes away, and then there is this new one. As it relates to general energies, this is about not beating yourself up or other people, not being overly judgmental. And as it relates to finances and career, possibly judgment similar to the Three of Earth, but obviously a lot stronger as major arcana, is about abundance that is earned. Right? We're getting this abundance, we're getting this reward because we have earned it. Nobody's doing us a favor. It can be connected to ascension for me too, right? Promotion by the universe, by God. God promoting you, the universe promoting you, uplifting you, elevating you, rising you to a higher vibration. You're leaving the lower vibration energies behind. Once the universe or God promotes you, you absolutely see that down here too. It shows up in the form of some sort of tangible, bonus, reward to you, something that you can see. As above, so below. So that's the best kind of promotion, if you ask me. Also, as I said in the beginning, there could definitely be something going on between an Aries or Scorpio and an air sign. We've got these court cards here now too. Feminine subconscious. Speaking of court cards, it is the King of Fire. Motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic. Focus, focus, focus. Communicate with vision and be a leader. Take advice from someone creative. The King of Fire is a Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, or maybe this Scorpio. Or perhaps Mars himself. This could be Mars himself. This could be Jupiter himself. I said today, the day on which I'm doing this reading, Jupiter is sequiquadrate. Was it Chiron? That's another red element for me. Chiron currently retrograde in Aries. So all of these things again, all these energies again converging upon one another. Crowning the Knight of Water. See all the Scorpio is coming through. Of course, this can also be the Pisces. Again, we have Neptune still in retrograde in Pisces, and Neptune active in what I just read. Neptune was involved. I don't even remember in what respect. But you guys can double. Oh, the moon. Jesus. The moon. Right? The moon is in Pisces. Emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, and contemplative. Falling in love or wedding proposals. The need to balance emotions and an invitation to a social event. The Knight of Water is indeed a Pisces. Scorpio. Possibly Cancer, although we haven't seen or read of any other Cancer activity. thus far. It could be anybody. It doesn't have to be a direct water sign. It could be anybody of those traits or attributes. Anybody making some sort of proposal, involving emotion. Quite possibly a romantic proposal of some sort. At the root, speaking of Pisces, and the hangman energy I talked about, it is Major Arcana card number 12, which is called Awakening in this deck, which is indeed the hangman, Archangel Gabriel. Look at things from a different perspective. You're at a temporary standstill. It's important to be yourself. So the hangman represents the planet Neptune for me and the sign of Pisces, because it's that energy of sort of where am I, who am I, what am I, which is what I think the moon is going to be about. And, going deep, deep, deep within, dreaming and fantasizing and thinking about our goals, our desires, the heights we wish to reach, and how we're going to go about doing it. And at the heart of the matter, again, we had 2 cards. Wow. The lovers with which we began are back, again, representing the sign of Gemini, perhaps another air sign, but directly, the lovers represents the sign of Gemini. Intimate relationships. Carefully weigh your decisions. Good health. Somebody could indeed have a decision to make, particularly with the lovers crossing the Knight of Air, which also can be about the need to make a decision, or the fact that we're awaiting some sort of decision. It may be a decision connected to this romantic proposal or other proposal involving our emotions that's going to tug on our heartstrings. It could be with a BFF, or connected to a job or career move or something, about which we're extremely passionate and emotional about. Anything offer like that, like if it's a job that you are in love with or would fall in love with, the job of your dreams, right? Or the partner of your dreams, the relationship of your dreams, the friendship, that you've been thinking about, that you've been missing, that's been out of your life for a while, returned, and the decision as it relates to any one of those things or something of the sort. Judgment, also about decisions sometimes, right? An actual judgment. You got to make a judgment call, or you're awaiting a judgment, which is the final decision. And, they use the term in court, right? The judge's judgment is his final decision. Some of us could actually be dealing with a legal matter, awaiting word as it relates to a legal matter as well. And that could be cause for celebration. Maybe for some, divorce could be involved. That may be what the loss or end of a relationship is. But even though we're done with that relationship, we still mourn it a little, right? Because we didn't always feel this way. We wanted it to work at some point. The fact that it's no longer working, we got to let that go. But we're accustomed to that relationship. We're used to it. It's coming to an end. So we feel something. There is emotion involved in that, even if we're wanting to move forward with somebody else. So all of these are possibilities. And the other card is Major Arcana card Strength, which will support us in any of these decisions and choices and moves. We'll have the courage that I mentioned also just a few moments ago with the Leo lion courage to face all these things. Great inner strength. Release harsh judgments. Instead, exercise some forgiveness and compassion. I'm going to add some further clarity to these, beginning with the Queen of Winter. Experience, self-sufficient, brilliant, and funny. All your life experiences have prepared you for this moment of truth. It's time to declutter your home, to clear away situations that aren't working for you. Okay, so that can cause the 3 of Swords, letting something go or someone go. And to disengage from people who create more drama than happiness, whoever those 5 of Wands people were. That can be what this is talking about. And again, as far as I'm concerned, those are most often our close friends and or our family members. So it's difficult and it can be painful to have to cut off our close friends or family members. So that, again, would be why the 5 of Wands and the 3 of Swords would show up together. The Queen of Swords, she's capable, and anyone taking on this energy is capable of doing that. That doesn't mean we don't have any feelings at all and it's not going to hurt. and we're not going to mourn the loss. But again, a new beginning awaits. This is Major Arcana card, the Dreamer, or the Fool in the traditional tarot. You're starting a new adventure. Run free and take a leap of faith. So trust, if your intuition, your logic, your emotions, your heart, whatever it is, these things have told you that it's time for you to break away from the old and to start this new thing. You know, do it without fear. You've got the Strength card here. And opening to the Two of Spring may involve a new partnership. Your vision, creativity, and dedication to your cause have brought you great success. In fact, it may be in your best interest to get a partner to assist you in your endeavors or to expand the number of people who are helping you. The Two of Spring is the divine union or twin flame card of the tarot. As it relates to other situations, it can be any kind of partnership into which we may be entering. And the number 2 is all about faith. So again, this is attached to the leap of faith that we be taking, on this new partnership. And even if it's a partnership, a renewed partnership, so it's one with someone we've had in the past, it's going to be different this time. Like that old situation that we had before is dead. It's still a new beginning, a path we've never walked before. Opening to the Five of Winter. So we're walking away from drama. Your current path isn't leading you in the happiest direction or the happiest possible outcome. So why not change it? Always maintain integrity and compassion, but be alert to the hidden agendas of others. So this is, again, the drama and the foolery that some people bring along. And this is the path we want to leave and why we want to start a new one, a brand new one. The Dreamer. I'm going to cut. And speaking of Pisces, it is the Princess or Page of Summer, Page of Cups. Sensitive, kind, open-hearted, and inexperienced. You can expect to kindle a new romantic relationship or a close platonic friendship. You may suddenly receive an emotional message from someone or be invited to a social event. Right? Somebody could propose to you, please come out to this event. And then there's the decision. I usually shuffle a little bit more. I don't know. I've just been moved to lay these, so I'm going with it. So that Page of Summer Cups will remain our overall energy. And here we go. And we got 2 again. I don't know what that's about, but I'm going with that too. Atop the 3 of Water. Major Arcana card number 19, the Sun, which we've also talked about quite a bit today. Your plans will work out well, bringing you happiness, prosperity, and success. You'll garner the recognition for your accomplishment that you so richly deserve. So if you do go ahead and go out with those friends or reunite with someone, or celebrate an event, or have a situation involving 3 people, maybe a direct water sign being involved, it will work out well. You could come into some sort of new understanding and enlightenment too. The sun illuminates everything. Again, the sun represents the sign of Sagittarius in the tarot, but Earth's star, the sun, is the ruler of the sign of Leo. And speaking of Leo, atop the Ace of Fire is the 4 of Summer. Okay, here's the opportunity. Here's the possibility that you might miss it because you're being pessimistic and doubtful and sort of melancholy. Your responsibilities may distract you from noticing all the gifts that God is presenting to you. Be open to investigating opportunities that come your way. Okay, here's the opportunity. Atop the 5 of Earth is the 3 of Earth, the 3 of Autumn. So as I mentioned earlier, the 3 of Autumn for me is about abundance that's earned. So maybe this worry is that you have not yet received your bonus or your raise or some sort of recognition that you were to get, masculine, but it is on its way, okay? Remember here, the outcome is good if you take advantage of whatever the opportunity is. Your most satisfying and profitable career comes from following your passions. listening to your heart, right? The Lovers here and the Strength, and doing what brings you joy. Your life purpose is best fulfilled by allowing your true talent and true self to shine forth out into the world. So this is not only career. I should have fixed that. It's not only career, it's your relationships too. When you follow your heart, that's the best possible outcome. That's when you get the sun. When you don't let other outside influences or whatever get you down and worry that, about and afraid to take this opportunity. Atop the Knight of Air, we have the Six of Summer. The love and care of children could become an important part of your life, or people from your childhood may return to it. Old memories can be healed, or possibly old childhood dreams are ready to be revived. So again, this can be somebody coming back into your life. Maybe you have to make a decision about that, an old friend, an old romantic partner. This can easily be an ex. We have two sixes crossing one another because the Lovers are here. So we have the Six of Summer and the Lovers. Could definitely be a romantic partner that is discerning itself to you, and you're going to have to make a decision as to whether or not you're interested in that, or what the dynamic is going to be, how you're going to build or create this relationship. What are the boundaries? How is it going to look to you? How do you want it to look? That's the decision. And definitely not revisiting something from the past where you felt lack. Okay, with this new relationship, this new start that we're having, we don't want to feel that lack of our past relationships and scars from earlier situations. Atop Judgment, it is Major Arcana card 9, the Hermit, which I've also been talking about, which represents the sign of Virgo. Take time for contemplation, to retreat and to go within. Be a beacon for others on their path to spiritual enlightenment. So as it relates to judgment, this is again in making a decision, the best possible decision that you can make, and maybe about relationships. There's a butterfly here. So this too is connected to the energy of Scorpio for me. Placed here on top of Judgment, it's definitely connected to that death and rebirth aspect, and a new one being allowed to come, not only to light, but to life, because we've got new information. So making the best possible judgment call based on all the information that's available, and that includes our enlightenment. Atop the King of Fire is the Prince of Fire. Passionate, charismatic, confident, and restless. The Prince of Spring is. An opportunity arises that needs your attention right away. Moving quickly is important, yet there's nothing you can't handle if you follow your inner guidance. The Prince of Spring, like the King, is a Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, or Scorpio, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And he is the Prince Charming of the deck, if you ask me. He is the one that comes by on the horse and swoops you up and throws you on the back, of the horse, and just takes you away to safety. He's the hero. So he's here. He's coming through to save some sort of situation, right? It needs his immediate attention, and he's going to handle it. Here we had the Knight of Water. Now he's the most romantic as far as I'm concerned. He's the one that's at the bottom of your window serenading you, and you can't help but fall in love with him. Atop him is the Empress. Very nice. Time to hop into action. Use your natural creativity to bring forth prosperity and success in your life. The Empress represents the planet Venus for me, and is another one of these threes. I don't know if you guys noticed all the threes. Remember in the beginning of the reading when I saw the time and the dates and stuff, and particularly the fact that the full moon in Pisces was going to be 3 degrees 12 in Pisces. I said 12 is also another 3, so watch for a bunch of 3s in the reading, and they have shown up. This is not the only one. We have the 3 of water here, we have the 3 of earth here, and I think we had another one. Oh yeah, we have the hanged man here. That's 12 equals 3. So there we go. What I want to say about these together, it's a new beginning in a very emotionally fulfilling situation, whether it's a romantic relationship, or again, a close friendship, some sort of kindred spirits coming together, a really workable business situation, career opportunity, something with which you're going to fall in love, or you have already fallen in love, a career path or job. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be extremely lucrative as it relates to abundance. Abundance comes in many forms: love, finances, material. And so there's opportunities for all of that. And again, it might also involve a proposal, somebody proposing a business opportunity to you, proposing a new job to you, proposing some sort of relationship or commitment or friendship. And then there's a decision that has to happen as well. At the root, atop that Hangman, Major Arcana card 12 equals 3, is another Strength card. So remember we have one here. At the heart of the matter, we have one right here now, just beneath it. True strength is displayed through kindness, forgiveness, and compassion. You have tremendous personal power and courage. Strength, again, in the tarot represents the sign of Leo, the lion. So more of this fire. And Leo, again, ruled by the sun. This could be strength in getting through this, looking deep within and facing some things that you may not have wanted to look at, in a while, and dealing with them. And again, some of that is going to come from the new moon in Leo that we're still feeling. The solar eclipse that occurred on that day as well. We're still feeling that, right? From August 11th, right? There's that 11. We're still dealing with that, still feeling that. At the heart of the matter, atop the Lovers and the other Strength card is two more cards, and they are interesting. Ego, Major Arcana card 15, or the Devil, which represents the sign of Capricorn. You may feel that you're trapped in your situation, but that's not true. Be careful about not being overly focused on material wealth, and break free of negative thinking as well. And then here we have the 9 of Autumn. Your success has brought you financial security and reward. Right? We have it sitting here next to Judgment, which I said was all about reward, promotion, elevation, and sitting next to also another 9 of Earth, essentially. Major Arcana card, the Hermit, represents the sign of Virgo. So it's like a 9 of Earth too. All right, so this is well-deserved time off to enjoy your own company that you're getting. You may suddenly have a brilliant idea for a business or self-employment opportunity. And it will be very successful. Again, lucrative, Empress. These two together is telling you to stop worrying about whatever the situation is for you. Whatever the abundance into which you're coming is, there's no need to panic about it and, try and remain tied to this lack. Let go of any lack, feelings of lack, codependent situations, codependent relationships, toxic relationships, and don't be afraid to be by yourself, on your own, single. Because for some of us, that's with what this has to do. It's about, embarking upon a new path alone, or after we've gone within to ourselves to see what we want and not living or loving for other people. All of that is going to involve this enlightening about ourselves. These 9s of Earth. And you're going to come to a decision, a judgment call, as to on what path it is you want to walk. With all the 3s, again, I just want to, be mindful. We could be dealing with a lot of party of 3 situations this week. 3s are also about creation. So we could be very creative this week. Creative juices flowing, things about which we're passionate, flowing. Creativity, the creator, And of course, 3, the Trinity also. We could be connecting with our, our inner divinity and exterior divinity, trying to connect with the universe while we're going deep within, using that energy of Pisces. Multiple 3s also, again, having to do with the ascended masters surrounding us. You may want to connect with, with them, or maybe 1 in particular, 2 in particular, 3 in particular, to which you feel, significantly tied. Or you may have some sort of party of 3 situation, possibly even a love triangle with which you're dealing. And I think that if that's the case for some, there's going to be some walking away from these love triangles yet again. And, people starting over and maybe going back to a past love or past friend. Because of that abundance, I wanted to use my abundance cards too. I was moved to do that at the beginning, moved to pull them out. I just felt that abundance was going to be, an overlying theme this week. And then lastly, from my past life oracle, beginning with leaving or travel. How poignant is that this week? Again, I think people are going to be walking away from situations or walking towards something new. There could be actual literal travel involved, if not just metaphoric movement forward. But it's all positive. So a past life card from each 2. And for these, I'll probably read from the book, so I'm just going to put them there to be done last. I didn't go over the energy with which I was beginning from the Abundance Oracle, the Angels of Abundance, and it is savings. As you consistently save for your future is saved. You do your future self a big favor when you consistently set aside present funds. This is a part of your self-care, okay? So we're thinking about how important our sense of self and self-knowing is this week. The Empress, also a nurturer, right? This is the mother energy. This could be a good week for those of you who've been trying to get pregnant, to work on that. This might be a week that some of us are finding out that we are pregnant, or it could be a week that we're even giving birth to a child. Some of us who will be watching this video. And that's going to be the new start, and that's going to bring us great emotional joy. That is something that we created of ourselves. It may be specifically a boy, a son. And that could be what we are celebrating. The birth of our son, who is a Virgo. Okay? Like, again, I believe Jesus to be. So getting back to this, the reason I brought all that up is because we're talking about self-care. Part of self-care is saving for our own future as well as individuals, not necessarily even couples. Taking care of ourselves. All right, so this is part of our self-care, and also the path to feeling secure, right? Not feeling lack. Not feeling lack. And we do all this as we focus upon our life and our life purpose. So further advice from that oracle to the masculine, bountiful nature. Spending time in nature helps you to shift to a higher vibration, reminds you of God's infinite abundance. Go outside and enjoy a walk or a hike with your pet. Meditate beneath a tree, garden, or sit under the stars, or do some other activity to connect with the limitless vastness. So the masculine last week was really guided to do some retreating and spending time with nature. And so I guess there's still some of that energy surrounding us. Get out there, masculine. You do have this earth energy surrounding you here, as well as the sun. So you want to spend time in the sun and with the earth and that fire element. Maybe even if you live in an area that's conducive to it, perhaps even by the water. If you could take a walk by the water for the masculine. That will help you to open up the flow to abundance for you. For the feminine, how are we going to get to our abundance? We are going to focus on our priorities. Where you put your focus is where you receive your outcome. Your priorities are calling to you. And that may produce a feeling of anxiety. Unless, right, and this can be the anxiety, this feeling stuck, devil, Capricorn. Also, now that I hold this up, separate and aside from this, this Capricorn energy is again where Mars is going to be retrograde. Is going to be facing direct in that retrograde that it's currently in. So that's another reason why the devil, I'm sure, is showing up. And so I just want to reiterate that with Mars facing direct, although it's still in Capricorn, it's a movement forward. Mars is the planet of action. It's no longer going backward in this sort of energy. And very soon it's going to revisit Aquarius, which is next month, which we start this week. This reading goes through the 1st. So on the 11th again, we're going to be getting back into Aquarius, which is really going to send us forward. It's going to force us to just want to be free of any bullshit, any restriction, which is what Capricorn presents. All right, so getting back to this, particularly if you are somebody who's been wanting to move forward, who's been feeling stuck, and or are an Aries or a Scorpio, and look how it's bookend, right? Aries, Scorpio, with this Capricorn sitting in the middle. Particularly if you're one of those and you've just been feeling like you really, really want to forge ahead, but you haven't been able to. This is your time. So get focused on these priorities. They're calling you, and that could give you again a feeling of anxiety unless you give them the time and attention that they deserve. All right. Even a small amount of time devoted to your priorities will help you to feel better and more confident. But we have all these cards already. What I do with the Hermit? Is this him? No, it's the Lovers. Here he is. He belongs here. We have all these cards guiding us to focus on ourselves, to give our priorities and our self-care, our nurturing, some attention. So this reinforces that for you, feminine, for us, as I too am of that archetype. For the masculine, the King of Winter, intelligent, impartial, respected, and unemotional. At this time, it's very important that you communicate clearly, be objective and unemotional. Act as professionally as possible. If you need advice, seek out the most experienced expert that you can find. The King of Winter is sometimes a lawyer, like the Hermit. Right? That's that Mercurian energy, right? That drives Geminis and Virgos also to take up professions like lawyer, judge, something like that may be actually involved. That could be why we're feeling restricted too. Could be a legal matter or something that we feel married to and we want to divorce it. If it's not an actual divorce, we want to divorce this situation, this circumstance, this relationship, cut ourselves away from it. So if you need help with that, you're guided to seek it out. And that help doesn't have to be necessarily a professional. It can be someone of this energy and maybe of one of the direct air signs, a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, if you have a friend with those traits. For the feminine, from the Animal Tarot, once we make our decision, we're guided to stick to it. It's the 7 of Spring. Be assertive, believe in yourself, and don't let anyone take away your personal power. Trust that your inner guidance is true and follow it completely. So once we get on that path, we're set out to follow from our inner guidance. Keep going. Don't let anybody talk you out of it and scare you. We got 2 strength cards here. Okay, so we're guided to be courageous. Be courageous. There's your 1111 moving you. From the Angel Tarot to the masculine, that 5 of Fire is back. Competing goals, bothersome details, conflict with others. So some drama could come up. On a more positive note, you could be urged to take action of some sort, right? You've got this 5 of Fire here. You've got the Ace of Fire. You've got the Sun. This is all the fire element. The fire element is about action. Mars is the planet of action. So how this presents itself in your life. And you could be presented with more than one scenario during this week. Maybe some drama will come your way, and an opportunity where you have to decide whether to sit it out or dance comes up. So if that's the case, you know that you're guided to dance. And if drama comes your way, you know from where it's coming and how to deal with it. And it may very well, again, be a close friend and or family member, or somebody maybe at work. It could be somebody at work competing with you, trying to get this bonus, promotion, raise that you are due, that you have earned, trying to take away the accolades and the praise that you are due. But that's going to fail, particularly if you remain focused and continue to forge ahead and take any action you're guided to take that's reasonable. Also, and as it relates to romantic relationships, there could be, two people vying for the attention of one. Again, some sort of love triangle, a party of three, and you may be guided to take action as far as, walking away from that situation, or, dealing with it head on. Feminine, from the Angel Tarot for us, it is the Four of Earth, being too frivolous or too cautious with money, good business decisions, and giving to the less fortunate. So if it's about money, there's no need for that. We got Judgment here. We got the Three of Autumn here. There's cards that definitely and the Empress is here. Cards that definitely signify that abundance and the financial nature is surrounding us. So no need to be paranoid about money. If that's the case, you're guided to loosen your purse strings a little bit. But also remember, again, to save for yourself too. Set aside something for you, not just giving it all away. And if it's about emotions, if we're restricting ourselves too much, the Knight of Water, Knight of Cups, wants to start something new with us, beginning, but we're feeling, rigid, like an air sign. We're guided to get a little bit more grounded and be a little bit more practical and reasonable, and maybe give them a chance, especially if it's somebody from our past revisiting that we've missed and we would like to, come back into contact with. Now's the chance. And lastly, from the Past Life Oracle Masculine, your card is forgiveness. So about seeking forgiveness and granting it, beginning with yourself. So Judgment comes back into play. We got to forgive ourselves first and foremost, and then we're able to more readily seek forgiveness from others and to extend them ours. And this Five of Earth and Three of Autumn also come back into play. This Five of Earth is probably the need to seek forgiveness or for forgiveness to someone else, and maybe to rectify, a group situation, a friendship, or even a romantic partnership. And feminine for us, it is trees. So we're too guided to spend some time in nature and connecting. This brings in the energy of the Tree of Life for me too, which is also connected to new beginnings as well as death. The Tree of Life is where Osiris was sort of buried. And he is the god of let's say life and death. And as a Scorpio, all about death and new beginnings. So again, I'll read these two from the book for a little further insight. And I opened right to forgiveness, I want you to know. The situation you're inquiring about will be healed or improved through your willingness to release the old. So again, allowing something to die and for new energy to come in. Release the old stored anger. You may not even be consciously aware that you've been holding on to resentment. Your anger may show up in subtle ways, such as high blood pressure, addictions, insomnia, or moodiness. Wouldn't it feel great to have stable moods and more control over your health? Forgiveness isn't the same as saying that the actions of others were justified or acceptable, Instead, forgiveness is a statement of self-empowerment. Self-empowerment.
Garage door open.
You choose to detoxify yourself of all stored anger and other negative energies. After all, when you hang on to anger, it only hurts you and not the other person. To heal this situation, be aware that meditation and introspection are important practices that can help you. See that your anger is merely a transient feeling, right? It's temporary, comes and goes, like a dark cloud floating across the sky. Recognize that the source comes from a past life issue and let it go. Forgiveness is cathartic and profoundly healing. Free yourself from negative and harmful emotions. Okay, that's for you, masculine. And for us, trees. Trees. This card indicates that you have a special relationship to trees. In ancient times, particularly in Celtic and Eastern European cultures, trees were considered sacred. The Druids looked to oak trees for prophetic information, and ancient healers used tree ingredients such as willow bark for medicine. Your connection to trees may have been spiritual, including the ability to receive messages from them. In some cases, these seemingly non-sentient trees are animated by real souls known as tree people. You may have been a tree person or a tree diva in this life or a prior lifetime. This card asks you to spend more time connecting with trees for healing knowledge and inner peace. So again, get out into nature, everyone, one and all. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video and you find it helpful. If you did like the video, again, please actually like the video. And again, if you're not currently a subscriber and you wish to subscribe, please do hit the subscribe button. And then after you do that, hit the little bell button so that you'll actually receive notifications that I have posted a new video. I'll be back shortly with the love reading. Namaste, angels. Thank you to all my sponsors. I don't think I thanked you guys. Thanked all the viewers and subscribers, my sponsors, particularly Myrtle, Mary, and Alice, and Jody. Yeah, especially you guys. Namaste, angels.